Greetings all. This is an introduction to the Autoharp, a little tutorial, long overdue. I've been planning on this for a long time and I just haven't made it happen. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite tips on getting to know the instrument and whatnot. So if you have any questions or comments, you can post them in the chat. And if you're watching after the fact, you can post them in the comments. So again, let's jump into this tutorial. Good morning, Garrett. Welcome. I want to start by letting you know what this is. This is an Autoharp. I think mine is from the 80s. I don't entirely remember. Apparently, you can look it up. There's a book that was put out by Becky Blackley, I think, that has like all the Autoharps listed from like the aughts in the 1900s into like the 80s, or I think mid 80s or maybe even 90s. But a great guide. You can't find the book much anywhere. It doesn't matter anyways because, you know, that's not important. Ultimately, what's important though is that it's one of the easiest instruments to start playing. It was created in the 1890s and it's been changed over the years. I think personally, I feel like the instruments in the 70s and 80s have some of the best sounds because they just get this full body. The problem with them, from what I understand, is that they collapse a little bit easy. Their bodies aren't as solid. Something about the wood. Now that said, the modern ones I don't think run into that problem nearly as much, but they don't sound nearly as good in my opinion. Maybe because I haven't played them long enough and you get used to the sound over time, but yeah. So what we have here is a 21 chord Autoharp. I'm using basically the majors, the minors, and the sevenths. Now some people have them reversed, so the sevenths are over here, the minors over here. If you bought an Autoharp from a store, it might not have this. It might be set up in a different way. It is set up right here as the circle of fifths. So this is one of the first things, if it's not already set up this way, I would suggest that you do. So first of all, circle of fifths meaning, you know, if you start in the key of C, F, G7, all the chords are pretty much right by each other. C, F, G. That helps the making it really easy to get started with the Autoharp, because if you take the old format for like the 15 chord Autoharps, you had things like a chord up here and a chord down here, and you had to play like that. So if you're trying to pick out melodies, it makes it very difficult. Good morning, Dan. Makes it very difficult though to play that way. So someone came up with the idea of setting it up in the circle of fifths, and it works beautifully. Now you can play things like very easy because all you're doing is doing two chords right by each other, and it's no problems. Now you can hold your Autoharp as I do up against your chest, or you can put it in your lap. It seemed like that once upon a time it was really popular to put it in your lap. Nowadays it seems like most of the Autoharpers I know play it on their chest. You do have to add something to make it happen. They have these little guitar, whatever they're called, I forget what they're called, but they to basically attach your Autoharp to it. I have one on the back, one on the front. This is my strap is falling to pieces, but I need to get a new one. Some point I will. Greetings, Rita. Again, the instrument is one of the easiest to play because all it is basically is press a button and strum. Doesn't really require a whole bunch more than that. You can do more. You can do a lot more, like I was doing. So you can do a lot more with the Autoharp if you when you have it set up this way. That makes it a lot easier. So what I want to go into right now, something that I've been long talking about, is tuning the instrument, because my instrument is not tuned. Now you will note that I have a pickup on here. It was installed. It's an Autoharp, an Oscar Schmidt bar pickup, and it's got a reason I use this particular pickup is because it has a great sound. in my opinion. I like a lot of low end on the Autoharp, and the Autoharp, most Autoharpers I think have a much more higher end. You get these beautiful, great for playing melodies, but I'm using it mostly as a rhythm instrument. Occasionally I do pick melodies out of it, but I'm not the expert at picking melodies on the Autoharp by any means. Now, if you're using that, you get a nice tuner. The CAG, whatever this one is, C20 I think it is a great tuner. Pretty much, I think it's like sort of standard for certainly Autoharpers, but others as well. You get the cross tuning wrench. This one, the T tuning wrench rather. This one is better because than the one-sided ones. It helps you balance it a little bit more. So they say, but it makes sense, you know, because if you have your tuning wrench and you're putting it into the pegs and it's a little slanted, it's going to grind a little bit weird. So this one gives you a nice solid grinding way to turn it and tune it. So let's turn this down here a bit. Let's see how that looks there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tune the Autoharp, and I'm going to show you how I tune my Autoharp to make it look and sound good. All right, so we got the tuner right here sitting on there. Now, not all Autoharps, of course, have a 1/4 inch jack to plug into. You can also get one that sort of clips on over here, and I used to have one of those. I don't know what I did with it because I never use it. The problem, it's not that important, useful for me. Because plus I plug in this way, so you can clip one on there and it comes in and direct in. What I used to do also sometimes, depending on how loud it is, I'll take the Autoharp and I'll put it right under here, and put the tuner right under the Autoharp, and that way it picks up the sound a little bit better. But more than likely, depending on where you're playing, you can just set it right out here, and it'll do a pretty good job, as well as you really need. All right, so. Here we, excuse me. Here we have the Autoharp. I'm gonna tune it up really quick. Again, it's way out of tune right now. So now, one of the ways they suggest tuning is by going one key at a time up and down the harp. So, for instance, we take the Fs, all the F notes, and then you go up to the next F note. I understand this is done because it adds a little bit of balance for the pressure in the Autoharp. So the Autoharp has, I think it was 3,600 pounds per square inch of pressure. So it's tightly wound. And that's one of the reasons why it's been known to explode in the heat. If you leave it out in your car, not a good idea to do that. But this supposedly reduces the pressure, so you just, loosen it up and tighten it up just a little bit along the way. There's what kind of Autoharps there are? There's chromatic and diatonic. I play a chromatic Autoharp. What that means is that I can play in pretty much any key that has a felt for it. The other is a diatonic. Diatonic is pretty much all in the same key. So the great thing about that is that the great thing about this, of course, is versatility. You can play in most of the main keys that you're likely to come across. But if you're trying to do, but if you use a diatonic, you can more easily play tunes that you want to play, and that's because you have you have basically, in this case, you have 21 keys that you can play, so you don't have to play. It's all in basically the same key. So if you're playing a D diatonic Autoharp, you can set up a D, D7, D minor, D sixth if you want, whatever keys you want to do, and it's all in the same key. It also makes it easier for playing Irish tunes. Because even if you just strum the Autoharp just like that, it'll still sound pretty. So that means if you miss a chord, it's still gonna sound good. it might not sound perfect, might not hit the right note, but it makes for some of those notes. When I was doing the, where was that? I hit this, can't know if I can pull this off. I do this, and it sort of gives this a passing note sound, and the passing note is a lot easier when you're using a diatonic because, again, it's all in tune. But here it might sound a little bit off. I might miss the note and it just sounds bad. But with or not good, maybe even. But with the diatonic, you're not going to have that problem. Again, I prefer this one because it gives me gives me greater versatility. And that's what I need the most when I'm performing. I don't want to carry 10 Autoharps with me. There are many Autoharpers who like to have, 3 or 4 Autoharps at their side, and they will play them each on their own. But that's not me. This is my main instrument. It is the instrument I want to play the most, and so that's what I do. So again, I am going up and down the notes, hitting the A's right now. Now, the A's for me are some of my worst notes ever. And it's not for tuning reasons, but because the A9 in particular, this note right here, and I say A9 because each of the strings is sort of numbered. So you got the F1, G2, C3, D4, E5, F6, but the A9 up here, it breaks easily. It's one of the last wound strings, if not we have the A sharp. It's one of the wound strings, and the wound strings, of course, they can be a little bit more fragile when it comes to playing hard. And now when I started playing music back in 1991, I started with the guitar, and I never got really good at the guitar. I picked up the Autoharp in 1997 to play it seriously, and it was a great instrument for me. But I was coming out of a punk band basically, and not a very good guitarist. I kind of tightly wound myself, I think, when it comes to playing an instrument, and so consequently I play harder than most Autoharpers, which has its advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage obviously is that I break more strings. The advantage is it gives me more of a stronger sound overall. It gives me that little pop thunk that it's a sort of a characteristic of my playing style. This thing. Someone said when I'm playing at the California Autoharp Gathering, and they pointed out that I have a very strong thumb lead. I never really thought about it, but I guess so, But that gives me this lower end sound, which is one of the things I really love. All right, since now I'm tuned up for now, I'm going to go ahead and play a song, and afterwards I will answer your questions about picks, felts, and strings, and more. So this is the Prettiest Hobbit. I'll tell a ballad underneath the party tree. Let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. We'll laugh and we'll eat our honey cakes as they roll in the grass down by the lake. The swan calls out, go home, my friend, to the party tree. We'll start again. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The moon looks down on a hungry cheer. Let's raid old Mungo's mushroom fields. If we lose our way neath the starry sky, we'll chase young conies to the broad daylight. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. I like it, Gary. You say tightly wound, like the player. Yes, it is true. All right, so I played that song because it's a very simple song to play, key of C, and it's basically, you know, I think I don't read music, so I believe that's basically a 2/4 time signature because it's, you know, bum 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 bum. So I'll go into it a little bit in a moment, but first, picks. Here are my choice of picks. Everyone has different desires and how they want to play. You can play with a plectrum, a little guitar pick type thing. They actually have Autoharp picks which are made of felt, and they have a better sound for playing. Obviously, I use picks, and I use my Dunlop picks. I usually have a medium on my ring finger, a large on my index finger. Now I have a steel pick on the middle finger. There are some other picks that you can get. It too is a Dunlop. There are some other picks you can get that are supposedly a little bit more comfortable. I'm so used to this, I continue to use it even though it's not. There's one that like sort of wraps around supposedly comfortably on your finger, and I got one and I just didn't like it. I'm going to try them again when I get to the California Autoharp gathering in May. But in the meantime, I'm using this one, and probably will continue because change can be difficult, especially when you're playing an instrument that you know really well. The other pick I use is a heavy Golden Gate thumb pick. I use this because again I play hard. You can get lighter ones that give you a little bit more versatility, and those can be great if you actually want to play melodies with your thumb. You can pick that out. These, I can't do it. Again, if you're used to playing with a pick, then it makes it a little bit easier. I like these because again, they're strong, they last long. It's taking me a while to, if you can see that, I wore down that the pick a lot. It was a little bit pointier, but I beat the hell out of it. So it's kind of it comes like that. So yeah, you can get whatever you want. There are lots of options for picks. You can even use your pinky finger. Who is it? Brian Bowers, who probably is most famously known for those who aren't Autoharpers, he's most famously known for the guy who popularized the Scotsman. The Scotsman clad in kilt left the bar one evening fair. He's the one who's first did it. He didn't play the Autoharp on it, but I think his first album had that song on it. Most Autoharpers know this, but consequently I have always appreciated that little fact. But he will play with his pinky as well, and I don't think he uses picks at all. You can play without picks and develop very strong calluses. He does I think he actually has nails too. I met him last time at the California Autoharp gathering. I don't know if he'll be there this time or not, but great guy. He has one of his albums. He has a sort of tutorial on how to play with how he plays the Autoharp, and you can hear him. If you're on streaming, go look for this. I don't remember the album. I'll post it afterwards if anyone posts a comment. Not in the chat, but in the comments section below, I'll go ahead and post the name of that song and what album that's from. But he basically does Battle Hymn of the Republic and shows how he plays, adding in each finger into the. It's a brilliant recording. I love hearing it. So fantastic. But again, you do what's most comfortable for you, and we'll see what happens. Now, what do we also have is we have strings. These are B model Autoharp strings. Most of them are going to be B model these days, unless you're playing an older. I think it's like before the 68 and older. Those use A model Autoharp strings. I don't know the difference, but it's either way, it works great. I like how this comes out. You can get them. You can actually build your own. I had a guy who would take guitar strings and build some, but it's more complicated and not worth the time, quite honestly. Each string varies in price between $2 to $4. If you break them, it can get expensive, but you can buy them in bulk for like 60 or 70 bucks on Amazon. If you want, remember also go over to autoharpmusic.com if you want to know anything about the Autoharp. There's a whole bunch of tips and suggestions over there. Now the felts usually go, I forget how much those are, $2 or $3 for a foot long felt. But each of the felts, I'm not gonna be able to show you those. They're cut to groove. So when you strum, the felts mute everything that's not in the chord. That's why the instrument is so easy. Now you do that, you don't touch anything, and obviously you don't get that. But as soon as you touch it, it mutes everything in there. Now, most of your felts, if you're buying it new, you should be fine for a long time. They last really well, unless you're playing it a lot or playing hard, like I do. You do need to press it down all the way, or it might not sound quite right. You can hear that. Yeah, press it down and it sounds a little better. You can replace your felts quite easily. You take off this part and get a nice razor or something to cut off the old felts and then stick on a new one. It's pretty simple. If you are looking for anything Autoharp related on how to do these things, I recommend this book, the Autoharp Owner's Manual. It was compiled by Mary Lou Orthy, and a lot of the articles were featured in the Autoharp Quarterly newsletter. I think that the newsletter is still running. I haven't subscribed in a while, but it's now put out by Pete Daigle of Daigle Harps, and it's a great guide. That is the everything you need to know, like how to set up the chord bars. It tells you there. Actually, that's kind of how I did it using, I think it was that book. Only I think I got it backwards, and so I ended up putting the minors over here instead of over here, which I think it suggested, and consequently I play it backwards from many Autoharpers. Oh well, Other books that I would recommend. Meg Peterson is who I learned from. I basically picked up these books. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was this one that looks more worn down. I basically took the book, and no, maybe not. This does not look like the one I did. No. Yeah, this is it. I basically picked it up and started, learning strum patterns. And as I learned a strum pattern, I wrote a song. I don't think this is it either. This is not it. No. Anyways, I basically took a song and said, okay, well, how do you do this? Well, it's each strum pattern. Now, these are old books. They were written, I think, in the 60s, maybe 70s. So consequently, they don't have details. They don't have Autoharp tablature. So Autoharpers have her own tablature now. I don't know who came up with it again, but it's brilliant. It shows you quite easily how to pick stuff. So if you want to play Celtic Autoharp by Karen Mueller, it shows you some of the tablature right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But as well as the chords, so you can know that there's this little pinch thing, pinch or a pluck. What I liked about Meg Peterson again is it was made pretty much for the singers. So it basically taught you very simple strum patterns. So in a moment, before I go into this, I want to ask you to post your questions. And now I'm about done with my tutorial, so I would love your feedback. And I forgot to plug my Autoharp back in. That's okay. So all you have to do is, it taught you basically strum patterns. And the very first one I think it taught was this one, which is just a thumb pick sliding across the Autoharp strings with you pressing a button. It's from there I learned what was it? Irish Lullaby. Over in Killarney, many years ago, me mother sang a song to me in tones so sweet and low. So you can see that it's a very simple, all it is one thing, one strum. From there you can add in other strum patterns. Again, I'm going to show you a few to get this started. You can do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, whichever finger works for you. I usually use the middle one, because the middle one gives me since it's the metal one, supposedly it gives you a little bit of a brighter sound. I'm not sure if I'm quite sensitive enough to that, but it's the reason I have the metal on the middle pick is that it supposedly gives me the option for playing leads better. As opposed to, I'm not sure I heard a difference, but hey. Nevertheless, that's what I do. So usually I'll use the middle finger for that. You can do whatever you want. If you're doing a 3/4 time, you can do a 1, pluck up, down, pluck up, or you can do down, pluck down, or down, pluck up. So lots of variations. Each one is going to give you a slightly different sound. So you can do the same thing with the 4 time. And then you start varying it up. You know, when I first started experimenting with the Autoharp, I didn't know what it was supposed to sound like, so I just kind of winged it. I think I had to, what was it? You know, you can do a whole bunch. I went to an Autoharp festival though, and they said, oh, well, you don't do that. If you play very simply when you're singing. And I now see that has a little bit of merit, but it's not necessary either. You can do whatever you want. When I play Name of My Soul, for instance, during the breaks, I play a little louder. And then I soften up. I walk down a dusty old road. You can control the volume, how loud you want to play. I didn't know what I'd find or where I'd go. So it's very simple to, you know, play harder or louder, and you can make do with what works for you. So those are your different options. Now, I'm going to go through how to play Prettiest Hobbit. Again, it's a very simple instrument. It's 3 chords, which is key of C, so C, F, and G, the 1, 4, and 5. And all I do is down 1, up. Well, you actually, for me, I use both picks. Now, the other thing I didn't mention is that you can play different parts of the Autoharp are going to have a different sound. As I climb down low and highs, low and mediums, right in the middle area when I'm saying that. The lows down here. And each one is going to give you a different sound depending on what you want to have. So playing the Prettiest Hobbit, all it is, I'll tell a ballad underneath the party tree. Let's have fun, come dance with me. So from the C to the F to the G, or C to the G. Thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate that. So very simply, I'll tell a ballad underneath the party tree. Let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, then I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. So it's just basically C, F, C, G, C, F, C, G. Pretty simple. I'll tell a ballad underneath the party tree. Let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. C, 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 F, 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 C, 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 G, 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 C, 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 F, 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 C, 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 G, C, G, C, G, G, C. Pretty simple. I'll tell Bella down in the party tree, let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, then I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. Looks like I actually have a F, G, C, F, G, C. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. There's a C, C to the G. Sing this song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. C, C, C. C, 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 G, 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 C, 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 F, 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 C, 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 F, G, C. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. So very simple to play. So again, let's go through the song. If you haven't, if you have your Autoharp out, feel free to play along. I'll start it a little bit slower if I can. This is the tough thing about teaching. I don't do this too often. But I'll tell Bella down underneath the party tree, let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. You got that? C, 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 F, F, C. C, 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 G, G, G. C, 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 F, F, C, F. C, 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 F, G, C. C, 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 C. C, 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 G, G, G. C, 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 F, F, C. C, 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 F, G, C. C, 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 F, G, C. Yes, it is easier said than done. All right, so let's slow it down a little bit. I'll tell Bella down underneath the party tree, let's have fun, come dance with me. If she won't dance, I'll ask Daisy. We'll skip till the sun comes up over the trees. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The moon looks down on our hungry cheer. Let's raid old Mungo's mushroom fields. If we lose our way, in the starry sky, we'll chase young conies till the broad daylight. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. Now it looks like when I play that 1, 2, 3, it's the thumb pick. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. We'll laugh and we'll eat our honey cakes as we roll in the grass down by the lake. The swan calls out, go home, my friend, to the party tree. We'll start again. Jump up and down, let your teeth gleam. Shout your love now, 1, 2, 3. Sing a song down on one knee. She's the prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. The prettiest hobbit you've ever seen. So there you go. that is Prettiest Hobbit. I'm gonna drink out of my coffee with the Kelp Father mug. That's coming up at 11. I can't believe it's already been 35 minutes. So awesome. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, come on back and watch my show at 11. And also become a patron over on Patreon, because Garrett is one of my wonderful patrons over there. And he asked about this. And I'm like, I need to do this anyways. But you want to learn how to play the Autoharp? I'll do it. He's been a generous supporter of me for so long, and I really appreciate it, Garrett. Thank you so much. And many of you, I think, all of you, I think, are probably patrons. So thank you all so much for supporting my music. Yummy. This is such good water. I should need to get some coffee for the next show, I think. If you have any questions, you can post them right now, or you can post them in the comments below. I will be happy to put something together. Maybe I'll do this again. Oh man, is my coffee... the Coffee the Celt Father thing should probably reverse properly. Man, I thought I had it proper, but maybe not. Darn it. Oh well. I have the other mug around here somewhere. All right, well, good to know. I'll keep it in mind for the next show. If you have any questions, though, I would love your comments. Love to hear them. Maybe I'll do another one of these if you enjoyed it. And that's about it. All right, I'll see you at 11 for an actual show. We're doing sci-fi drinks today. If you're watching after the fact, I'll make sure to plug it in. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel and signed up for my notification bell, click the little bell so that you make sure you get reminders each time I go on. I'm going to be doing a bunch this month, a lot of times this month, because I'm doing a big special offer over on Patreon. If you sign up as a heroic patron, you will get my album as long as, my new album, which is called Heroes. You'll get that as a special gift for signing up as a heroic level, $10 per month. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Sláinte. All right. Here we go. Cheers.